Good morning, everyone, and happy day 46 of the challenge. As you can see, I am pulling out of the garage and I'm getting ready to hit my commute. So, the car chronicles, because I feel like that's what you guys are going to get today, is straight up car chronicles. So what is the plan for today? Well, this is a big if I'm able to get home before 6, then I'm going to go to CrossFit. I'm going to go to the 6 p.m. class because tomorrow I will not be able to make it to the 8 or 9 a.m. class because we all know I have to prepare for this book signing, which, by the way, I have additional information. But before I get into that, I will tell you guys the rest of my plan for day 46. So I'm going to go to CrossFit. If I don't make it to CrossFit, then it's going to be a spin bike night. That's just it. Obviously, I'll be on campus, so I'll be able to walk around there. But the main thing is I'm really going to aim for CrossFit. So that means I need to leave campus no later than 3, which means I have to cut my socialization short. And it's Friday, so the traffic is nuts on Friday. I mean, nuts. It's like people, I don't know, they're like on a whole different vibe on Fridays. So Fridays is one of those things where I have to leave by 3, no later than 3:30, really 3. Honestly, 2:30 if it's a holiday coming up. So, because once I hit Interstate 10, first off, before I leave my house praying. But for several reasons, because I'm traveling, commuting, and all of that. But on Fridays, everybody is out. Everybody's off from work. Everybody is rushing to get from point A to point B, the same points they've been trying to get to all week, but they're like driving like they're on steroids. So I like to be out of the way. And usually when I'm commuting, it's really not that bad. Like there's rarely bumper to bumper traffic and stuff like that. And I think I was telling Dee that the other day. It's not like LA or Atlanta where you're sitting in traffic. However, on Fridays, because there's an increased amount of people on the road, there's higher probability of accidents. And the same thing when I have to go in really early. If I have to be there at like 8:30 or 9, it's better for me to leave my house earlier to avoid traffic, because a lot of people are rushing to get to work. I obviously, with a 2-hour commute, I'm not rushing anywhere. I'm just like, I will get there, don't you worry. But I just have to be really alert when I hit the major interstate. So anyways, I did reach out to the community of practice for this event that I'm doing tomorrow, because the more I thought about it, I was like, I need to make sure that I agree to like do activities with kids. Like I looked at the emails and I still, for the life of me, I was like, okay, it's kind of unclear what I'm doing besides reading my book. And that was it. So I reached out to the person that text messaged me, and let me just say this, thank God she sent me a text, because when I tell you I would have been shooting into the dark, I would have been shooting into the dark, because I had no idea, besides reading and bringing like 30 books pre-signed, I didn't know what else I was supposed to be doing. So anyways, I reached out to her, and basically she sends me the email of like kind of a plan, and everything that's on the plan, it says my name, but I'm like, I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing. And she asked if I had any bullet points about because there's an introduction, and I'm not sure if people are reading about nature-based education by Claire Warden. I think it's Warden or Warren. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name correctly, but she's well known in the nature-based education world. So I'm like, I don't have no points to say about that, because I didn't know I was supposed to be making any points. So the syllabus is just kind of vague on what we're supposed to be doing. And even she's kind of perplexed, and the way that the text messages we're reading, it seems like a lot of information was not passed to her, or the expectations weren't clear. It seems like both of us were not getting a lot of direction on what was expected for this event. Other than I was reading the book, and I was like, I don't have to read the book to adults. So I'm finding out that it's also a professional development. And I'm like, well, that's great. But this is even more awkward, because I don't really read children's books to adults. I don't know. And for those of you that have worked with kids, or you have your own kids, like, I don't want to be getting into character to read my own children's book. I'm sorry, not sorry. I don't really want to. I'm like, that's why I have the audio version, and I typically will play that. So I'll typically play the audio version, and because when I'm reading a book, I'm reading it to be engaging for children. I ask them to count. I ask them what's their favorite pies. Like, I ask them engaging questions so they're interested in the book. That's the intention. So this will be a first, reading the book to adults. And even for my college students, I don't read my book to them. I will play the audio. And actually, I take a different approach with them. I use the book as a lesson plan example on how you can take one book and build an entire week of lessons around it. And so that's typically my approach when I am doing this type of like presentation in terms of how can you use this book in your day-to-day teaching. That's my approach. So I feel like I'm going to lean into that possibly. And it's funny because I literally just taught the lesson planning activity stuff in my Monday night class. So I think I'm going to read that tonight and kind of lean into that with the students, or not the students, with the educators. So that's the plan, but it's going to be a very early day. I have to leave home by 7:30, so I can be at this event by 8:30, but it starts at 9. But I have to have enough time to park, because I don't really know where I'm going. Thankfully, I will have my better half with me. I've already expressed and said, hey, I'm going to need you to take pictures, and I'm going to need you to film, because I need the stuff for my website. And if you haven't seen my website, it's DeannaReeseWilliams.com. Just to have updated photos and all the things. So he's fully aware that he needs to be the photographer for the day. And hopefully I'll be able to share some photos with you guys. I've already started editing the weekly vlog for the week. And I will clearly have more content coming in two things happening. So, but as I'm commuting to work, there's nothing else going on other than me thinking about packing my bag, which I didn't unpack too much in terms, I always have a cosmetic bag ready. That's one. That's a quick way to pack. And I already had my concert outfit packed. I don't have like regular clothes packed for Sunday. So I will get that situated without a problem tonight. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else to catch you guys up on. Oh, last night. So I guess in the post-chair conversation, because I just wanted to record really quickly and tell you guys, I'm not crying, I'm okay. It was a good meeting. So I think I told you all when I met with the peer group that one of the ladies on the call had recommended reading over somebody else's applied doctoral project, which I don't know if I made this clear. So because I am a psychology major, like I'm getting my doctorate in psychology, I'm required to do what's called applied doctorate project, which is equivalent to a dissertation. I just only type 4 chapters as opposed to 5, and it's practitioner based. So any of us that are majoring in psychology at my university, we're just required to do an applied doctoral project. So one of the ladies was like, you should look for a paper on ProQuest that your chair has chaired over based off of some of the questions I was asking, like just the different things that she's asking me to do. And I'm a very visual type of hands-on learner. So telling me to read a handbook, I can read the handbook, but I'm like, okay, what does this actually look like? And not so much to copy, but to make sure that I'm understanding what I'm actually doing. And so I really like that this lady had provided this recommendation. And I was like, okay, I'm going to find something. Well, I had looked, when I say I looked, I did a couple of searches, found a couple of other ADPs written by other students that I was going to read. As you know, I needed to research on another topic for my actual paper. So I didn't have time to really dive in to find something by or written by my chair. So, and that was okay. So Thursday, when I was talking to her yesterday, and she just kept telling me, she said something to the effect, she's like, you're going to drive me crazy. And I'm like, feelings mutual. Like, it's fine. I feel just as crazy. And that's when I told her I felt like I was like living in hell writing this paper, because it's so stressful for no reason other than just the way that she has her students get through their paper. It just doesn't work really well for me. But at this point, I'm too far in to be like, I'm going to get another chair. I'm just committed to the process. Got to do what I got to do because I'm too close to being done. Okay? So while I'm saying all of that, she refers back to the handbook. And she's like, you just need to look at the handbook. And I said, Dr. So-and-so, the handbook, I have read it. I'm done reading it at this point. I revisit the handbook every time I get to a new chapter. And I said, even though I started putting chapter 3 together back in the summer, I have not went over chapter 3 in the handbook because I wasn't quite there yet. I said, I can't get ahead of myself. I need to finish chapter 2. I have to. I said, but when I looked at the handbook for chapter 2, it didn't really tell me anything other than what I already know I have to do. I said, I need to be able to read examples of what this looks like, and so I have better understanding. So when she's telling me what I need to do in my paper, and then when I read the handbook, that's great, but I'm like, I just need some examples. And I remember early on in my doctoral journey, the professors are saying, read other people's ADPs. Read them. Go ahead and start saving them because it will help you in the process, which I did save some. But I'm at that point where it's like, okay, I need to go back and refer and read again. And even though these folks and we don't have the same topics, but it's just understanding the layout, the jargon, and all of that. That's the key. And so she said, and she often likes to talk about this student that wrote their 3 chapters in like 3 months or something. And I said, well, I'm not that student. I will never be that student. And she's like, well, remember I said when you started, like, how I am? I said, yeah. But I also said how I am too. So here we are, right? And she said, well, that student, everything just got approved. And I can redact the student's name off of the document, and you can use that as an example just to understand. And she's like, it's had the approval from me, the committee member, and then DSEM. And I was like, all right, that's great. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, God, you are really funny. You are so funny. Because, you know, I was looking for a paper on Sunday, couldn't find anything. Couldn't find nothing with my chair. Couldn't find anything, which is fine. But the fact that she ended up giving me an example anyway, I'm like, won't God do it? I mean, I feel like this week he has been answering prayers left and right, things that people don't know that I'm in search or wanting answers for, and he's like, here you go. So now I have a blueprint of some sort of guidance on ADP. And the other key thing is, because she said my students use triangulation for their papers, and I was like, oh, that explains why I'm using triangulation, which I did watch those videos Wednesday night, I believe. And I have a better idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the triangulation method. I'm going to use Prisma, an expert, and an Excel spreadsheet to check all of my researcher biases. I learned something, okay, guys? Let's be real. A week ago, if I had to explain it, I would have been like, trying my best. I understood it to a certain degree, but I understood that it was checking researcher bias. I just couldn't understand. I was like, okay, but what methods am I using? And that's where I was just like lost in the sauce. Just like somebody throw me a rope or something. Yeah. So I have the example. I'm like, God's looking out for me. Also, because if you've watched this far, thank you. And then secondly, D, you know how I was like, oh, I really wish I could be in a book club. It would be so cool. There's a couple of reasons why. There's things that I am realizing as I'm getting older. I know I sound like I'm much older. I'm only 41. It's just honestly where I'm at stage-wise in my life. Being an empty nester and not having at least for me, not having my schedule full with like, all right, we're going here now, like with all the kid activities. It really opens up a lot of time, which is great. Great. That's one big factor. The other second big factor is working remotely and alone all the time. So I have to be very intentional with like being around people, engaging with folks. It's just very different than what I would have ever had to do 5 years ago. But this is where I'm at. So I have contemplated wanting to be in a book club just so I can interact with people socially in a different way. One of my good friends is a planner girl. If you like planners and stickers, you'll understand that. If you don't, sorry. But I like planners too, and there's like a planner meetup group, but it's an hour away from me, and they meet on not every Sunday, but once a month. And I like the idea and I like the concept, but I'm just like, I'm not driving out of town to do planner meetup. Now, if they hopped on a Zoom and, like, I wouldn't mind doing that just so I can participate, but I'm just not going to do it. So the book club idea, I preferred being in a club locally with other women, per se, so I can connect there. And so, lo and behold, I go to CrossFit, the place where I'm like, I'm going to be more social and meet more people. Well, it's taken me darn near a year and a half to like try to start connecting with people. And so I connected with this one lady. She's retired. We started going to the 3:00 class like together at the same time. And she's always talks to me and I always talk to her. And we hadn't seen each other in like a month. And I said, I've been out, I've been traveling, and I said, healing with the sciatica and so on and so forth. So we're just catching up, and she's telling me she was traveling too. And I don't know how we got onto this, but she ends up telling me about a book she's reading in her book club. And she was like, it's such an interesting book. And she's like, yeah, and I think it was because I was telling her that I have the commute to the college. And she's like, yeah, we've got this lady in the club, the book club, that only listens to the books like on audio. And she has this hour commute that she has to do. And that's what she does. I was like, and then she said, I imagine you probably listen to a lot of books. I said, I do that, audiobooks, podcasts, and chatting with my friends, and obviously car chronicles with you guys. And I was like, wow, book club sounds amazing. And I said, do you guys meet? She goes, yeah, do you want to join? I said, absolutely. So I got the book. I will share like a clip of that, I think, in the vlog. I think it's called The Open Door, or The Doors That Open, something like that. I went on TikTok to kind of hear a little bit more about it. I go on TikTok, but not like that. It's just more or less to gather information. I use it like a Google search, honestly. But yeah, so I'm in a book club, and the first book club like meetup is going to be, they rotate at different people's houses, and we're doing a cookie exchange. And I'm like, Lord help me, because I am nobody's. I can cook and I am capable of baking, but I feel like I need to practice baking now to make sure the cookies taste good. And I typically bake gluten-free cookies, and that just might be what people get. I have found a good brand of gluten-free that tastes good to me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it does taste good. So I think I'm gonna be doing that. I might just be getting a lot of bags of cookies and calling it a day. So anyways, so a lot of great things happening behind the scenes. So this vlog is a little bit longer. Tomorrow's probably gonna be shorter. And yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna hop off. Y'all have an amazing day. Welcome to day 46. We're less than 30 days from the challenge being over. This is gonna take us right into December 22nd. So right into the week of the holidays. And by the time that happens, I will be back in Texas again, probably taking the nature walk. So anyways, have an amazing day, amazing morning, and you guys take care. And hello to all the new subscribers and the new viewers. I'm noticing the viewership is going up. Like, seems like it's a steady 4 to 9 people. So thank you guys for watching this video, and especially if you've watched this far. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Have a good night, good morning, and I'll see you on day 47.